Well, good afternoon to you. We have 3 laps to go now in this, the 1999 World Cycling Championships, the Elite Men's Road Race, the last of the millennium, and what a cracking race we've got for you. There are only 67 riders left in the main group of the 173 starters we had this morning when they set up at 10 o'clock Central European time. And Andrea Tafi has been riding a phenomenal race so far. He's ripped this thing to pieces. They've just caught him. They come in now with 3 laps to go. That's just about 30 miles left in the race today, and really it is still a wide open race on this remarkable circuit of 10 miles in all, 16.25 kilometers. They're going to cover by the end of the race 260 kilometers in all. That's 162 miles, and as ever in pro bike racing, they didn't do much for the first 100 miles, but now the proverbials hit the fan and they're going like stink. Alongside me on the left-hand side is Sean Kelly, who's going to be putting his interest into this and information too as we go on, and Russell Williams, who's a statistician today. Sean Kelly needs no introduction to you, but I'm going to make him blush now. Twice the winner of Paris-Roubaix, twice the winner of the Bastogne-Liège, 7 times winner of the Paris-Nice. Took the points jersey in the Tour de France as well, 3 or 4 times, twice, 3 times winner of Tour Lombardy, twice, gosh, and all around about us we've got a great galaxy of international talent in this, the World Cycling Championship from Verona. And we've been fascinated by the way in which the Italians have been thumping up down the road there. And first of all, Sean Kelly, what on earth is Tafi up to? He has not stopped in the last 2 laps, eh?
No, he certainly has not, David. Well, he seems to be on a good day, and he's, going to blow it to pieces earlier on, and he's trying to get away in an early move, but he's been pulled back by the Belgians each time, and he's not getting enough of an advantage to make any ground. 35 seconds was he's about his best, and the Belgians got together 4 or 5 on the front and took him back. So, but he's definitely he's up to speed by a lot. They've said 44 kilometers of an average per hour the last 3 laps, so he's definitely blown the race. It's under. We've seen a lot of riders go out in the last couple of laps.
It also seems to be strange Italian tactics, because normally they work as a team, and to start a man like Tafi off so far from the finish they've been doing, is this Tafi because that's Tafi, or do you think the team tactics are to draw the sting from people like Jan Ullrich or Van den Broek, who, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, back at home, Van den Broek crashed earlier on. That was on lap 6 coming out of the town. He went down with a big bang. Nico Matta went back to help him, then Wolters, then Museau. They got back in the main pack, but he's really ripped his wrist. He's soldiering on, but he's not in the best of health at all. And in fact, that wasn't the only crash of importance. On lap 8, we had Kamazin come down with a bang. Nardello went down too. Rebellin, Tafi, and a fellow called Gunnar from Denmark. Gunnar's now retired, but Kamazin, Nardello, Tafi soldiered on, but Rebellin, one of the main hopes as far as the Italian team were concerned, he was out with a very serious injury to his hip, and we think his rib might also have been hurt as well. So we had more than our fair share of crashes, which maybe disrupted the Italian tactics, and I say Tafi's been the only thing. And this race is amazing. They went so slow to begin with, and now they're going flat out on towards the finish. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. 3 laps to go, just under 30 miles, and we're back here with Van den Broek, who crashed early on. He doesn't seem any strapping around his wrist. I think they've given him a pain-killing injection to keep him going, but that shows you what bike racing is all about. This is a sport where the men come out from the boys and they start to go. And this race, just imagine covering 162 miles in the World Championship here in Verona. And now another rider's retired. This is amazing. The Italians are not going to like that, because going into the pits there, that's Sergio Barbero. So it's thinning down the Italians, who really want yet another gold medal here if they can only do it. But a disappointment then for Barbero, who's now abandoned. Rebellin's abandoned. And actually, Sean, looking at the list of riders today, and in fact we've now got one of the Belgians locked it on the head, and that's Mark Wolters, who's now gone. I just don't feel that the Italians have got it today. Have you got a hot tip for who's going to win? And then we're going to ask young Russell alongside me who he thinks is going to win today. Have you got anybody? You've been around the course. First of all, before you tell us who's going to win, what about the course?
Well, the course is it's a selective course, but it's not one of the real hardest World Championships, or the hard like we've had some years or the past number of years. It's definitely a man who was very strong. A guy like Museo, a guy like Schmil, I think they can power their way up that hill and hang on in there today. So I would say we could have a group together, unless we see a Van den Broek who is, he can blow to pieces on the hill. He's, when he attacks on the hill, he's so explosive. But talking about Van den Broek, they said he is so race, but if I was a rider out there, I would believe that too much, because that can be part of the tactic to take the bit of the pressure off, because there have been a lot of pressure leading up to this, and even today around the pits this morning there was a huge amount of pressure, everybody talking about Van den Broek. So I could see that being just take a bit of pressure off him, and as we see there about 2 minutes ago, we see him sitting in the group there. He seemed to be comfortable enough, so I would watch out still for Van den Broek.
Well, Russell somewhere has got a list of the out in the Gazzetta dello Sport where they gave the stars of who was likely to win today. You're still looking for Van den Broek. I actually still would think that Mr. Ulrich might catch a few people napping.
Yes, definitely, David. I think Ulrich, the guys who have come out of the Tour of Spain with good shape and in shape over the last 3 or 4 weeks, those are the guys who can do a ride today. But I think Ulrich, Van den Broek, those guys were the big favourites. But I think for me there's 10 or 15 guys capable of still winning this race here.
And Basso's gone out now. Well, there's under 23 champion, a bit back now. So the Italians are thinning down. Rebellin's gone, Basso's gone, Rebellin's gone. So the Italians can't be that strong now. Now then, Russ, you've got the stars here at Gazzetta dello Sport. Who's sort of the top 4 on that list?
Right, the top 4 for the Gazzetta dello Sport, they've got Van den Broek down, and they've got 10 points for form, 9 for attitude, 7 for the team, and 9 for experience. They give him 5 stars. After that, they got Bogard from Holland, they got Konashev, and they got Museo.
Well, actually, my dark horse is Konashev. Konashev there. At this time, now this is the bit where I'm going to embarrass Sean Kelly alongside me, because he's ridden the World Championships, and I've got down here 3 times you've been 5th, 2 bronze medals, and I remember that time when you got the bronze medal between Dimitri Konashev and Greg LeMond in Chambly, when it was a nasty wet day, and this Konashev is still in there now. What do you rate his chances?
Well, yes, they've been talking about him, that he's in very good shape over the last couple of weeks again, and but I don't think he's...
Can I just butt in there? Zula's on the way. Now he's gone again. We've seen him. Sorry to interrupt there.
Yes, we've seen Zula. He's made a few moves. He was in a move earlier on with a number of riders. So he's quite active, and he seems to be in a good form today. And he's also came out of the Tour of Spain, and I think at the moment he should be in good shape.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt there, Sean, but go back to Konashev,
yes,
because anyway, I remember that sprint. It was pouring down with rain. They came down this hill, bow punctured, and there's you, LeMond, Konashev, and coming in toward that finishing sprint, and you got the bronze. But what about Konashev, though, still being there? But he always seemed to me a bit of a playboy. He came good, he went bad, but he seems to have come back good now.
Yes, he definitely has come back good, and as I said, he seems to be in shape over the last number of weeks, and his name is one of the favourites. But I don't think every time going around on the hill, you come around the hill very quickly. I don't think he'll be able for it in the end. Although I'm speaking now, I have not followed it closely enough to be a great judge, but I don't think he will be good enough for that sort of climb.
It's a long drag of a climb. You've been round the course then, Sean. Let's say you were still riding the day. What would your tactics be?
Well, my tactics would be I'd just be sitting there all the time, and I'd wait and wait. When Taffy goes away, the Belgians are riding for Van den Broek, and you just hang around and watch Van den Broek and a few of those guys, and wait definitely for the last 2 laps, and then if you've got it, you hit it at when you think is the time, or you just follow the main guys like a Van den Broek, like a Ulrich, like a Zula. You just stay with those guys. And of course, me being a sprinter, I just had to follow these the real strong guys in the last 2 laps, and if I can stay with them in the leading group, well then I always had a very good chance. But going back to Chambly, I thought that as well when I got to the last kilometre with that group of LeMond and Roux and Konashev, and I would have put a lot of money on myself that I was going to win that World Championships, but it didn't come off. LeMond was on a super strong day, and he made a super sprint.
But it was that close, wasn't it? I think the length covered all 3 of you, if I remember correctly. It was pretty close.
Yes, it was very close. I went for a gear ratio which was maybe a little bit low, 53 by 30, which probably caught me out a bit, because it was a very fast sprint. Fignon, he attacked it a kilometre ago, and we came into the finishing area at a very high speed before the sprint started, and LeMond started the sprint 250 metres out, and we were going very, very fast at that time, so it was a super fast sprint, and I was a little bit under geared, and when I wasn't coming over LeMond, I got so browned off the last 5-10 metres. I stopped pedaling, and Konashev came by me and took seconds. But
Hey, I felt for you then, Sean. Now then, just tell the people back at home what it's like to ride at this level, because I've always been impressed as a commentator how we watch the amateur road championship, for instance, and they'd start the first 2 or 3 laps, they'd go like eyeballs out, they'd set the fastest time for the first 2 or 3 laps, and they go slower and slower. Now, I haven't checked the under-23s, but I think it won't be quite the same. But with the professionals, they now call them elite, it seems to me to accelerate, and towards the back end, it really is flat out. What's it like to go 162 miles, and the last, 30 miles, you're really on the rivet, eh?
Yes, well, it's quite demanding, and stamina is a big thing. You have to be, you have to have a lot of stamina there to compete in these big, long one-day races like the World Championships or the Classics. And as you said, they ride along, but when you say they ride along slowly, they were still doing 36 on average for the first number of laps there, which is for somebody riding a bike is quite a nice speed to be able to go along. Although for those guys it would be, taking it relatively easy, and then as you said, they just wind it up, and fellas start going for it, like we see Taffy having a go, and that just builds it up, and the speed gets higher and higher, and the final laps they go faster than any lap. It's just amazing the stamina those guys have got. But they're full-time bikers, they ride a bike every day, almost every day of the year, and they're super fit and super stamina.
Well, at the moment we've got Zula's gone off down the road, and he's also got with him one of the riders from France, 85, and that's young Jean-Cyril Robin. And here they are just trying to prize themselves up front, where when they come down into the Verona to the start-finish area, they'll still have 2 laps to go. Sean, before we get right into the depths of this race, I was talking to Pat McQuaid, and it seems that Ireland might be pitching for the World Championship. What do you know about that?
Yes, well, that's true. That's ongoing. It's going on with a while that we're trying to get a date for a World Championships, and it would look like it would be 2003, 2004. That's that year, because the other years have already been allotted. And we're pushing hard, and hopefully that we will get a date. And if we get a date from the UCI, well, then we'll have to work on where it will be in Ireland, where the venue will be held. Of course, there's the road race and all the time trials, so we'll have to look for a very good venue someplace in Ireland.
And are the government behind you? I mean, who's going to be supporting this?
Well, I think the first thing is we have to get some sort of a commitment from the UCI, and then the government will it will be something for the government to go through. It will have to be naturally go before government and get them to pass it. But if we think we're getting a year like 2003, 2004, well then we would say, well, we're going to, we have an idea we're getting that, so we would be following it up, and that is the plan, I think.
Right, we're looking forward to that too. We're looking forward to this race. They've now got 2.5 laps to go. They're going up this top of this climb called the Torcella. It is an 8% climb, and the actual climb takes about 4 kilometres to get up toward the top. There's 4 kilometres down the other side, and then they have the 8 kilometres of flat before they come back again. So on the front then we have Zula leading through, together with Jean-Cyril Robin for France, and the rest of the group coming through here with most of the star riders still in that one. The only ones that are out of the big group are those that have crashed out, like Rebellin, and one wonders just how Vandenbroek must be feeling since the crash early on in the race, which wrecked his wrist, and so he's still soldiering on. Taffy's been trying to blow the thing apart for the Italians, but now you can see the whole field is being whittled down. We have 173 starters. There can't be more than 50 men still in contention in this, the 1999 World Road Championships from Verona.
Step into the future.
Alpina Weiß. Es ist wieder Zeit für dieses Weiß. Denn ich will das perfekte Weiß, das schnell deckt und das ich nicht rieche. Alpina Weiß von Alpina. Europas meistgekaufte Innenfarbe.
Business owners today move at a frantic pace. You need to stay ahead of the competition. Manage growth. Balance cash flow. Preserve relationships. Plan for the future. The sky's the limit. At Zurich Financial Services Group, we create innovative solutions for insurance, financial protection, and asset management. Your aspirations, our passion.
The greatest hits of the 80s. An amazing 8 CD collection. 144 of the greatest hits from the biggest stars of the 80s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 CDs packed full of your favourite 80s tunes. Just call this number now. An amazing 8 CD collection. These are the greatest hits of the 80s, and they're available to you by calling the number on your screen now.
Well, don't worry. Be happy.
Don't miss out. Order now.
To rejoin us, then the lead group we had before with John Saint-Aubin and Alex Zuller on the descent off that top of that climb. They've been quickly joined. You see there, Zuller wearing 13. Well, unlucky for some, but maybe his lucky number. He's now been joined by a little group, including Oscar Camazin, the reigning world champion, who came good at the back end of last year, surprised a lot of people by getting his world championship jersey. They're on the way down this slope, only a 7-second lead on the main pack, so they might still be brought back by the main group. So they are whipping around this corner, and the main field, you see him coming in very quickly indeed. This then, the 1999 World Cycling Championships for the Elite Men's Road Race to conclude our programs from Verona. As they set off down this climb, I think they may come back together. And round the course, you will be finding the cameras picking up the spectators and the atmosphere of this great race. And before we really get into the in-depth part of the race, let me read something out of the program here, because there's been so much money put into this here by various big people like the Benetton family and from Tefilo Sanson, the big ice cream manufacturer. And one paragraph in his write about the World Championship. Just look, here's the sign behind you. And what he said, that in an age when we think purely in business terms, and that tends to pervade into the realms of sport, I'd like to remind us all how this great event, which has been built on the foundations of the highest professionalism and which has required a sizable financial commitment, is not, nor does it want to be, a business affair. Much more important are the emotions that we hope to transmit to the people and the memory that each of us will conserve for these splendid moments. So these people here in Italy, these big people, the big businesses have put money, and the people on the side of the road enjoying every minute. I love that. Much more important are the emotions that we hope to transmit to the people and the memory we'll conserve at the end of it. I hope you back at home are also feeling the same way. Look at the crowd around here. They're going to reckon today there's going to be over 200,000 people around this course, and the question is still who will run out the victor at the end of this race. I talked earlier on to Sean Kelly, who's alongside me here, about the opportunity of the World Championships going to Ireland. And I don't know, Sean, if there's anybody left in Ireland, because last night I bumped into a load of lads from Limerick, Mike Cusack, Gary Sheehan, Jerry and Tom Sheedy. Everywhere I went there was the Irish there in big numbers. How is it that your chaps support the sport and travel like they're doing great numbers? I know you and Stephen Roche and the rest of the lads, Shay Elliott, my day, led the Irish into the sport, but there seems to be some big soul there. I'm going to put you on the spot, that what drives you in Ireland?
Well, it's amazing this year the number of Irish people have travelled over this race, and it just shows back in Ireland the way the economy is going. I think number one, everybody has got money, and also to travel nowadays compared to 5, 6, 7 years ago, it's got so much cheaper to travel, so I think that has a bearing point as well. But the World Championships, as you said, it's always special in Italy. We have, the Tifosi out, and the number of people that has come to this World Championships. I've been around here today, and I've got nowhere in 2 hours, because I meet so many people through the cycling world who is managers, riders, or just supporters. They're here from all over Europe, and it's unbelievable, the numbers of people connected to cycling and any interest in cycling at all. They're all here from all the countries all over Europe, and as I said, there's quite a big number of people over from Ireland.
And the big thing about cycling, Sean, you and I are deep in this, Russell will live alongside me likewise, is this is free. They come here, well, they've got to pay to get here, but there's no way going into an enclosure having to pay good money. Look at them hanging over the side of the barriers here, watching the race go through. It's for everybody, men, women, children, the whole lot. Come on, even bring the dog if you like alongside, and just stand on the side of the road and watch it go through, listen to the public address telling you what's going on, bring your portable TV, see the pictures as well. And thank goodness, by the way, we've got decent weather, because normally this time of the year we have some pretty bad weather conditions. And right now the weather is absolutely ideal for the race. The sun has been up ever since first thing this morning, when they started at 10 o'clock this morning, and they've been racing now for 5 hours and 30 minutes, 5.5 hours of racing. We've got this little breakaway group going down the road, and they'll be coming through the town shortly, this great town of Verona, best known of course for Romeo and Juliet and that great William Shakespeare play, which has been then transferred into ballet and beautiful music. And but right now this little group we've got at the front started really by that breakaway group, which was really activated by Alex Suller, who wears number 13 on his back. Unlucky for some, but bit by bit, one or two riders have gone across to them, and they'll be heading through very shortly into that breakaway group. So Oscar Kamazin is in there at the moment. We've also got Alex Suller in that breakaway group, together with Mirko Celestino, who was surprisingly up in, I think, 3 stars, maybe a chance to win the race today. And in that breakaway group, Martin Den Bakker, the champion of Holland, is there, together with Jean Serra, who went off to begin with Alex Suller, and the other rider in that breakaway group at the moment is number 96, Martin from Spain. So we got it up there on our beautiful computer system here. My two colleagues writing it all down. Now it's come off the computer, and it's all here before our very eyes. Here they come through the feed zone, and you can see the British jersey there, prepared to hand up a drink to our team. Our team, in fact, is Max Chantry. We've got one rider, Great Britain, back in there because David Miller ripped his ankle and couldn't ride, and Jeremy Hunt, who could have ridden, but he's come to the end of his season, having started out quite early in the year, has now decided not to ride the championship. So we're down to one man in our team. 33 seconds back to Chase Group with the ever-present Italians on the front. They've come through this time with 2 laps to go. Now then, Sean, I went to the presentation before they come to the start-finish area of the Grand Prix Pluy, or the World Championship next year in Pluy, which is taking the Grand Prix Pluy circuit in, and that's going to be 10th to 15th of October in the year 2000. Bernard Hinault said that to win the World Championships, you need a team. Now, there have been, I mean, look, when it was only you and Stephen Roche when he won, wasn't there? But do you really need a big team to win at this level in the World Championships?
No, you do not need a big team, but if you have a big team, well, it's always an advantage. It helps a lot on the day, and it gives you the extra confidence because you have them guys going out there with you. But, if you look back and, Roche, Stefan won it, and we had a great team, although we had a bigger team than we ever had. Like, we had 4 riders. We had Martinelli and Paul Kimmage as well. And on that day, like, they rode very, very well, right up to, the last 2 or 3 laps, I would say. And then Le Montas won, of course, and he had a great team around him. So if you're really on a good day and you can work your tactic right, read the race right, you can win without a team. But if you get into a difficult situation, sometimes you miss a move that goes. The team is there. If you have a big team, well, then it's a huge advantage because you can set them at the front, you can pull it back, and you can relax yourself on the last couple of laps, as I said. And when the work has really to be done, you can do it then.
Well, we're coming the last 2 laps, and look at this, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 4. There's no one about 30 riders in this group, quite a number of Italians today. They stream past our commentary point here, looking at them with the sun setting on the backs of the riders. That beautiful clock there as they go through the Porta Nova and then turn left. As they go through here, let me just tell you, on the wall there's a beautiful plaque then to commemorate Romeo and Juliet, and it just says there on the plaque, and I wonder if it has any significance to what we're going to have here today about the way in which the race will evolve before you. And we're still, it says, there's no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself. Hence banished is banished from the world, and the world's exile is death. Well, who's going to die 1,000 deaths yet? We've got 2 laps to go to find out.
Wherever you look, there's always something plus. The Wagon-R Plus, a Suzuki Original.
Wenn Sie das Gefühl haben, dass zwischen Ihnen und Ihrer Bank eine tiefe Kluft liegt, Ihre Bankgeschäfte kompliziert sind und Ihre Bank Sie oft alleine lässt, dann kommen Sie zur Noris Bank. Wir machen es Ihnen ganz einfach. Zum Beispiel mit dem günstigen Girokonto mit Sofortdispo. Und wir sind immer für Sie da. Im Internet sogar rund um die Uhr. Noris Bank. Wir machen es einfach.
Step into the future.
We love sports and the passion that surrounds them. Our goal's performance. On television, we're just showing our brand.
Wir lassen Sie nicht allein. Sofortfinanzierung in 30 Minuten für nur 6,6%. So gehen Wünsche in Erfüllung. Jetzt anrufen 0180 200 0180. Noris Bank. Wir machen es einfach.
Well, we're inside the last two laps of this, the World Cycling Championship from Verona, the elite men's road race. They're called elite now, but they really are all the top professionals you'll like to see on your screen. Interesting, of course, because we see them here in the national team colours. We've just seen number 75 in that sort of maroony coloured jersey, and that's Roman Veinsteins from Latvia, and he's really had a good season so far, and you never know with people like that who'll take advantage of the team tactics, particularly where the Germans are playing this one out on behalf of Ullrich, the way the Italians are playing this one out on behalf of I don't know what now, because they've lost at least 3 men so far. But the Dutch really have been also trying to make sure that Mr. Bogart gets in with a chance of success, because last year he had the misfortune to puncture just when the action happened in the last half a lap going way through. So the sun is shining now on this beautiful city of Verona. Just go back to Ireland, by the way, what I understand, a lot of people turn up for this race, and sort of sorting that out, Sean. I mean, it's a big investment, isn't it? I mean, sort of how many people like to turn up?
Well, yeah, it's a very big event, and the number of people that come in, there's 1,100 riders in between all the events. 60 countries competing, and you have about 5,000 accredited personnel on the race, which means televisions and radio and press, written press, all of that. So it's a massive event, and it goes out to so many countries around the world.
So apart from that, which has to be paid for by the organisation, again, I suppose you get lots of visitors going to come over to Ireland and enjoy the hospitality of it. We just hope you get it in the year 2004, and I hope I can join you in the commentary box on that occasion, or vice versa. And we wish the best of luck, and Pat McQuaid likewise, because why it's coming back in Europe. There you see this breakaway group here on your screen. That young lad by the Pedughello, he is, if I said, the dark horse. I watched him in the Tour of Italy, a Tour of Spain this year, and he was going rather well indeed. So I'm not sure that group will stay away, but one or two chaps here may catch a few people napping. But going through the World Championship, we're off to it's Holland and Portugal, and then it goes off to Canada in 2003. It goes out every 7 years outside Europe, then it comes back in again, and Ireland may get it in 2004. And we'll just remind you then, next year in Pluy in France, that will be on the date, will be the 10th to 15th of October. Make a note in your diaries and book your seats now. Right, back for the race, 24 seconds between that lead group and the... Before we, by the way, go off and back into the race though, Sean, you were riding the World Championship when it was in like August. Here we are, October, gorgeous weather, thank goodness. I know the other evening at the presentation of the World Championship, Floyd, Hein Verbruggen was saying, look, the Tour of Flanders, the Les Bastogne, the big classics are in April, it pours with rain, so what's wrong in the World Championship when it's still cold and miserable in October? So he's quite happy to have it this back end of the year. I've got a feeling I would still like the World Championship to be in August, when there may be more people coming in, because we've got no Laurent Jalabert this time, we've got no Olano, no Pantani, no Cipollini, no O'Grady, no McEwen, no Armstrong, no Hincapie, no Bartoli who crashed anyway. But at this time of the year, how can you keep up? Or how would you think? Because when you were racing, must have been August. How does anybody keep their activity going from the start of the season, Milan-San Remo, right through to now?
Yeah, it is a difficult one, Dave. When they start so early, end of January, they start their season, and it's difficult to keep it going for so long in the year. And also the weather situation is a difficult one, because depending on what country you are, where you hold it, it's it kind of a big bearing on the weather. As we see last year when it was in Holland, they got a very bad day compared to a day where it's beautiful. So but the way the calendar is laid out now at the moment, with the Tour of Spain being pushed later in the year, compared to what it was some years ago. It's the only date that really fits in for the Worlds, and the problem is you lose some of the big favourites, like the names you mentioned. You know, there's a lot of them that's going to cry off anyway because of being so late. But you know, you can't please everybody, and that's something you have to, you know, they have to try and work about. The UCI has that problem, but there's nothing really that can be done about it, because the Tour of Spain, first of all, has to be gone through before they can have the Worlds.
Well, we're at the World Championship here in Verona. The sun is shining, and up the front there, Oscar Camazin defending his jersey. We've just seen Zuller drift off the back too, so it looks like the Swiss are beginning to go some. Oh my goodness, if the Swiss win this championship again, they're going around the town. They've got these blasted great big cowbells going zong, 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 and there's a Dutch band going round too. So if the Swiss win or get second, if the Dutch win or get second, we're going to have an absolute cacophony of sound at the finish point here. But as look at the Germans now start to go some, because it looks like Mr. Ulrich is now beginning. No, surely, hang on. Don't recognise him with his glass and his hat on, but we've got Oscar Camazin ploughing away at the front. We've got Zuller has been just dropped off the pack. There we've got Van den Broek now leading a chase group as well. So it's beginning to sort itself out. We're on the second lap. When they come through, the bell lap will go. This must be the point, Sean, where they begin to get rid of the few hangers on, eh? Yes,
well, we see this group out the front. It's a dangerous group, and it's getting into the race now where it is, you know, getting to the decisive point. And as we see Van den Broek, he's trying to shake the thing up here, try and get a group going. As we can see, he's split it into a few pieces there, and that's the only way they're going to catch this group. If you break it up and get away a few more guys, you can hopefully catch that leading group, and it has to be done now, because otherwise it's going to be too late.
Well, Van Petegem we saw on our screen there, another man who was tipped maybe for a chance of getting the gold medal at the end of it, but Jan Ullrich is certainly beginning to put some pressure. I put him down as a likely chance, and the stars for us, where did Gazette dello Sport put Jan Ullrich on their list?
Yeah, they've got Jan Ullrich down with a 3 stars.
Only 3 star. I had him as a 5-star, but because I'm biased, because I watched him race in the Tour of Spain, which certainly seems to give the edge to some of the riders in this race. Sean, quickly, as he's revolving for what about the Tour of Spain and Jan Ullrich? You've not only ridden the Tour of Spain, you've won it as well, and now they've moved it from the early part of the season to the back end of the season. Any comments on Ullrich's performance there? He's been in the doldrums all season long, hasn't he?
Yes. Well, he had a rough season, and he fell off at the Tour of Germany before the Tour of France, and he didn't take part, didn't start the Tour of France, and he came around good for the Tour of Spain. And it's good to see Ullrich coming back, because I think he has a lot of potential. He has a big career ahead of him, and winning the Tour of Spain, I think, will mean a lot for him now. And we see him here today. I think he can do a good ride in the end of this race.
He's driving hard. Casagrande on the right-hand side of him, the winner of the San Sebastian Classic, does really. Michael Bogart there in the orange jersey just behind him as well. So these 3 fellas putting the pressure on just at the front here. We're getting to point surely now, Sean, when team tactics aren't playing the same level that they did do until we got to here. Is this now every man for himself?
Yes, well, I guess every man for himself now, because it's very few teams that have a number of riders in there, and it's to the point now where the leader has to take things in his hands, and unfortunately the position is there's a group away. So for Ullrich and Casagrande, Van den Broek, we see all of those guys in that group. I see Koenigsegg is there with Ullrich as well, so there's a good few of the favourites in there, but unfortunately they have to try and chase down this group, and there's always going to be a couple of carriages, as they say in cycling, guys who are not going to do the pulling, going to be sitting there, so that's going to be difficult for those guys to get it organised and get the chase going and catch this group in front, because you have a lot of very good guys up there.
It's coming back though, isn't it? That Ullrich is putting in a powerful turn at the front, isn't he? He's really going some. That just shows the sheer strength. You've got this other group, and look, they're coming up now, they're coming up. So Oscar Camazin wanting to defend that rainbow jersey in the best way he can do. He's come good toward the back end of the tour, and now they're coming up to him here, and so they might well be. Russ, you were going to say something? You tapped me. You want to say something? You've gone.
No, well, I think I was saying, people asked me who's your favourite for today, and they were talking a lot about the Van den Broeks and the Ullrichs. But I said to a lot of people, and a lot of the Irish people I spoke to around the Irish riders, I said I think you can see maybe 15, 20 riders going into the final of this race. And as you can see now, it's all coming together again. We're going into the last lap, and we certainly have 15, 20 riders, if not more. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this coming down to a sprint of quite a sizable group.
Then I will have Koenigsegg as the sprint winner.
Yes, well, Konyachev definitely would be a very dangerous guy if it comes to a sprint.
Ross, you've also got the American Chan McRae up there from Mape.
Oh, Christ, he's there.
And he's pretty fast at the finish as well. Maybe not as fast as Sean Kelly in his heyday, but he is pretty fast.
You're right. I missed him out there, McRae. You pick out the oddball because he will be a surprise. He rode very well also in the Tour of Spain, likewise, and so he's a dark horse. Now Van der Broek's starting to go away again. The question is, starting into this race, how the Belgians would work with Van der Broek, whether they have to do it on his own. But he's got here, he's still there, despite that crash. If you just join us live on Eurosport on this Sunday afternoon, welcome to our programme. I've got alongside me Sean Kelly and Russell Williams, provided with statistics. Also here, watching with bated breath as we're now coming towards the last 1.5 laps of this race. And Van der Broek has been on everybody's lips as a possible winner of the race, but he crashed earlier on. The team had to drop back and take him in to the, in fact, it was lap 6 when he crashed. This is a 16-lap race in all, 162 miles, and the top riders are still here in contention. Sean, going round, I have been absolutely knocked out by the number of old champions, old inverted commas, but champion of the world. This atmosphere is something else. I mean, you raced a lot in Italy, twice winner of the Milan San Remo and the Tour of Lombardy. The Italians love their cycling, don't they? And this atmosphere and the people. How have you felt walking around here? I mean, here you are working with us, thank goodness, on the World Championship, walking around here in Verona these last 24 hours.
Well, actually, it makes me feel good again. You know, when I go walk around there and just the people standing around are, the knowledge they have of cycling, and you know, the number of people that know me, just spectators around the course, it's unbelievable.
And look at the crowd too. This is a magnificent World Championship. Thank goodness the sun is shining. They come off the top of this climb. They've got a 4-kilometre descent down into the flat part of the course, then another 4 kilometres in towards the start-finish line. No 4 kilometres of flat, then up the climb. That last lap is going to be absolute something out of the top draw. I hope you stay with on Eurosport for more cycling coming up after this break.
Step into the future.
I hate to travel like this. The service is absolutely dreadful. The in-flight entertainment, forget it. And that food. 10,000 years of civilization. Hasn't anyone thought of a better way to travel?
Sure. Computer, Grand Class.
Austrian Airlines Grand Class, delicious meals by award-winning chefs, a selection of wines and a wine waiter, and an individual interactive entertainment program. Comfort and service of the next generation. Austrian Airlines, the most friendly airline.
These are turbulent times in business. You're managing all kinds of risk, exposures, asset volatility, performance erosion, market turmoil, the unexpected. Inhale, exhale. At Zurich Financial Services Group, we create innovative solutions for insurance, financial protection, and asset management. Your aspirations, our passion.
As you rejoin us, the riders dropping down off that climb, the penultimate climb of this, the World Cycling Championship from Verona. The last of Millennium, who's going to get that gold medal? And interesting enough, just sitting in there on the wheels, you could see in second spot Konyachev, who's got a superb sprint. Janel's been going very hard indeed. Young Chan McRae from America, sat there to Bogart in the orange jersey. They're all coming down here, and about 13 riders left, that's all. But if they ease back a bit, there's a lot more will come back to them once they get down into the flat run-in towards Verona, and the bell will go, and that'll be that. We've seen a wonderful ride too by the reigning world champion, Oscar Camberlin. Wears number 1 on his back. He's been still consistent, trying to stay in there and trying to defend his jersey too. There is the American on your screen right now. Superb ride as far as he's concerned to be in that group then. William Chan McRae, number 43 on his back. And gosh, we've got to go back until the old days when did Le Mans win? 1989. did he win the event in Chambéry. And then, of course, so Lance Armstrong in 1993 came after that. So the Americans have been there too. And Lance will be back in Austin in Texas. Won't be seeing this live, I suspect, but no doubt he'll find some pirated tapes. What's amazing is, Sean, we've been bumping into a load of Americans and Canadians who get a supply of tapes of Eurosport's coverage of all the top classics and the big stage races too. And so perhaps I won't say that Greg will go and buy himself one, but perhaps the Outdoor Life Field might be covering this one too. But evidently America very much into cycle racing now. We've been talking to the new manager, the Mercury team. They're coming over here next year. We've been seeing also perhaps a change with the lads from the Linda McCartney team coming over here. So the cycling becoming much more international, but the top names are still there. You've got the Italians on your screen, you've got the Swiss on your screens, and coming down here, this breakaway group having split the thing apart. Let me take you quickly through what's happened. Up to about lap 10, nothing much spectacular happened. They were going round at a steady old speed, and we went through lap 10 at 100 miles and at 4 hours and 3 minutes. The worst thing that happened then was a crash between Camazin, Nardello, Rebellin, who crashed out and didn't manage to get back on his bike. Van der Broek also had a crash, but really the purge has come on in the last 3 laps. And I must also put a good word in for our Egyptian rider who's soldiered on all the way around the course so far, Amar El Nadi. He actually got lapped about lap 12. I don't know if he's actually still going on around here, but it just shows that whilst we're watching the top best professionals, there are still other riders prepared to have a go at this level, and just shows you how this World Championship spreads far and wide. We've now got there a Dutchman on the front in the orange jersey. Then there's a Russian just behind that. That is Konishev going through now. And then we've got the Frenchman, then we've got the Swiss rider, then we've got an Italian rider, and that's the lead group at the moment. And there's only about 12 or 13 riders left in this group. Can they stay away? As taking over the lead at the front, going past that Jean-Charles Robin, who went away earlier on with Alex Zillow. And now also in there at the moment, we have Marcus de Berg from Switzerland. They are thinning down tremendously here, because in that breakaway group also number 29, just saw him go through. That's Mirko Celestino, who was a surprise winner of the Hugh Classic, but he's coming good right now. And this man Van der Broek on your screen there, number 24, powering along, and the reigning world champion Oscar Camazin. There is number 70, that is Jan Ullrich. There's Chan McRae going, so there on the far side is Dmitry Konishev. This is a tremendous group of riders, and they seem at the moment, Sean, to be working quite nicely on the chain. So do you think they're now going to settle their differences and keep going? Because 13 seems to me a rather large number. Do you think they can keep it going?
Yes, I think it's possible they will. Depending on what's happening behind, we haven't seen that, although they're coming into shot now. But there's 11 riders in the front, and they had 25 seconds. So, it's a quite substantial lead, and I think half of the way it went up that hill there's a lot of riders who have, lost a lot of ground. It would be impossible to get back. As you said, there might be a number of 5 or 6 riders who will scrape on the descent and on the flat before we get around to going into the final lap.
What intrigues me in this little group here, look, we've got a couple of Swiss riders on the front, then the Italian looking back. I mean, they're not going to chase, are they, with, they've got Camazin down the road as far as the Swiss are concerned, the Bergs down the road, the Italians, what are they going to do about it either? Because it seems a good mixture of nations here. And this man here, Jan Ullrich, has now got a new lease of life, and he looks like he could be powering on and maybe get another world championship. The very few people, by the way, can get 2 gold medals in one world championship. We already had Genevieve Jensen, the Canadian girl, who got the time trial in the women's race. Then she also got the road race likewise, but I wonder if we're going to see a double done this time. It's quite unique to have 2 gold medals. In fact, probably I think the girl Jensen was the only one I've ever known who's had 2 gold medals in the same world championship. So what about Ullrich, winner of the time trial championship of the world in Treviso? That's in number 70 on your screen. Number 24, Van der Broek coming back. This is Chan McRae coming back for America in the red, white and blue. And the attacks are coming. Now, Sean, is this sensible to do that? Don't you think they should keep working at this stage when they come through? They've still got 16 kilometres to go.
Well, it depends what kind of a rider you are, of course. If you're a rider without a sprint, well, the only thing is to attack, and on the hill it's very difficult to attack, and Van den Broek and Ullrich, because those guys are so strong, they will just, they will close you down right away. So some of those guys are going to go early and try and get the advantage before the climb. And as I said, if they haven't got a sprint, well then that's their only choice, because in the World Championships, like, the win is the thing. Finishing on the podium is it's very important. But outside of that, any place after that, really, it's not of major.
Russell stayed in bed. Well, you're watching the tail end now. They're coming up towards the final lap then. 173 riders started. We've got no more than about 13 riders left in this breakaway group. They come through then, and number 1, Oscar Kam's in that breakaway group. Number 12 is Marcus Zerberg, also riding for Switzerland. In that breakaway group, number 24, Van den Broek. Number 28, and that's Casagrande. Then number 29, and that's Celestina. So the Italians have 2 riders in that breakaway group. Number 43 in that breakaway group at the moment is Chan McRae from the US of A. And number 47 is Michael Bogart in the orange jersey for Holland. Also in that breakaway group at the moment, number 70, Jan Ulrich in the blue and white jersey, riding for Germany on this occasion, because this is a national championship, not one that you normally see on Eurosport when we have the big teams going through. And number 85, Jean Saint-Robin in the red, white and blue colours for France. Number 85 in that breakaway group, also for France, is Jean-Michel, 85 is Jean-Cyril Robin, and then we go to 92, and that's the Spanish rider Pierre Gromez. We haven't seen him doing very much at all. And number 103 is Dmitry Konishev of Russia. Yes, Russ?
Yeah, just behind these 2 little groups, we've got a little breaker 5 trying to get across. We've got Niki Abersol from Switzerland, we've got Bert Zerberg from Switzerland, we've got Nardello from Italy, and Martin Debacker, 2 Spanish. So just 25 seconds behind these 2 groups. You hear the bell.
There goes the bell. They go through that wonderful archway. They're going to turn left and run along after that, going through on the right-hand side, the Portina del Bra. They will then go along through the Palazzo del Gran Guardia, then turn over the top of the next of the run-through. They're taken past that famous castle, the Castelvecchio, and that beautiful bridge of the Ponte Scagliero. We may sit on the screen, but the camera's now focusing on the race, and this is the critical moment now, as the gap you see on your screen then showing up 33, 34 seconds. The bell is ringing as they're going past our commentary point here, and a lot of blokes really are hammering on here, and Sean is looking over the top as I'm doing. You're getting 2 sort of things. We've got the picture on the screen, and there you can see in the distance that Castelvecchio. But Sean, the way they're going through, this is really the moment when they're going to go. Surely they've got to do something now, eh?
Yes, well, definitely, as I said, those guys who've got to do something earlier on, and Ulrich and Van den Broek seems to be in this group alone, but the Italians seem to have 2 guys, and the Dutch people have 2 riders.
So it's all down to this last lap for about 15 kilometres to go.
Step into the future.
The greatest hits of the 80s. An amazing 8 CD collection. It's hard to find good tonight. 144 of the greatest hits from the biggest stars of the 80s.
Do you really want to hurt me?
Just call this number now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 CDs packed full of your favourite 80s tunes. Don't miss out on this unique offer. Call now to get your own fantastic 80s collection. All the 80s stars, all the 80s hits in one fantastic collection. These are the greatest hits of the 80s, and they're available to you by calling the number on your screen now. Don't miss out. Order now.
Ehrlich, ich verstehe absolut null von Technik. Jetzt hat schon meine Frau gesagt, wir müssen endlich ins Internet. Und jetzt sitze ich hier mit dem Kram. Dabei bin ich doch gar kein Techie. Ha? Bin ich da schon drin oder was? Ich bin drin. trennen. Das ist ja einfach.
So einfach ist das mit dem AOL Internet Startpaket.
Trennen.
As you rejoin us then, 33 seconds is the gap for our leaders, and they're now just inside the final 14 kilometres of this race. They're on the flat part of the course coming out of Verona. There the orange jersey of Michael Bogart. Just going behind the red and white jersey is Oscar Camazin. And I've been looking through the books whilst we had the ad break then to see when the last time that we had a world champion twice on the trot. And we go back to Gianni Bugno, 1991 in Stuttgart, 1992 in Benidorm, when we had a world champion win 2 on the trot. Because normally it goes on and goes on and goes on. We have to go right the way back to 1960-61 when Rick Van Looy won the championship 2 years on the trot. It's not a normal thing to happen, so the Swiss supporters round here will be willing on Oscar Camazin. You'll see him there in the red and white jersey on the far side. But that man in the blue and the white, Jan Ullrich, is still a man in good form after his Tour of Spain victory. And just behind, perhaps the one man that most people have been surprised to find there is young William Chandler Craig from America, but he's doing a great ride as we're now heading in towards his last lap. And Camazin looks back, well, he powered away last year in the World Championship in Valkenburg. Much different conditions it was there. Just behind him then, number 28, there's Mirko Celestino of Italy, who got that Zulla's packed. Well, second in the Tour de France this year, rode his heart out in the Tour of Italy, in the Tour of Spain, and seems now that he couldn't stand the pace, so he's gone. But still in there too, number 12 then is Beitzeberg. So there are 2 of the Swiss riders in this group. There are 2 Swiss riders in there. Now then, how advantageous will that be then for Camazin, Sean Kelly alongside me, to have both Markus de Berg and Oscar Camazin in there to play the old 1-2 on the climb? Do you think they're going to work together now, the tactics? How can they sort it out?
Well, I think it's going to be exactly the same as last year. Again, there was maybe 2 or maybe 3 last year in the final, but with 2 here, they're definitely going to start attacking, and they will each take their turn to attack and try and get away. Because, as I said, on the climb, I think an Ullrich and a Van den Broek are probably that bit too strong, and it's just impossible to take any advantage on the climb. So I would see him attacking before the climb, and certainly if they get all the climb, this group go together, well, then they're going to be a lot of attacks.
Russell's saying that there are 3 Swiss riders that breakaway go. I've got one. Russell, what do you say? Come on, you're signalling to me. Come on, you speak. You're allowed to speak, you know.
Yes, I think Abersold is also there, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the screen says 1:12:24, so in that case, he must be there, but, oh, well.
And he was also there in the final last year with Camazin.
So my screen is not right. Thank you, Russell, for pointing it out, even if we're sort of struck dumb all of a sudden. Oh, the man himself then, Mr. Cipollini's turn up as well. Well, I think he would like to ride, but those who followed the Tour of Spain will know that he went there, he's going to start, then his wife, who gave birth just recently to another baby daughter, had some depression after birth. He went back again, broke his training, and knocked it on the head. Yes, Russ, you can speak this time.
No, hopefully we're going to see Cipollini in 2 weeks' time in Berlin riding the Pursuit, the individual Pursuit.
He's talking about it, isn't he? Yes, and you'll be there, I'll be there. The track is the next thing on Eurosport's programme. We're going to the Tour of Lombardy next weekend, by the way, on a Saturday, and then we go on to the track coming after that.
Just coming back to Chan McRae, the US rider, obviously he's getting a lot of support because driving the team car is actually Jim Okowicz, used to be the director of Motorola. Jim knows how to ride a race. He's helped Lance Armstrong in the past. Is it possible that Chan could get up there in the sprint?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, there's 15 now. One time I thought there was 13, which was unlucky for some, but it looks like 15. And Ullrich is, well, has he got to burn this lot off then? Because Ullrich is, I've seen him sprint reasonably well. But what would you say to Ullrich now, Sean?
Well, he's in a position there which is the wrong one for him. He's on the front there, and everybody seems to be looking at him, waiting for him to do the pulling, as they say. But I definitely think if anybody attacks, he will definitely react right away, because he's got to do that. But if they keep looking at each other and get through the climb, well, it's possible they will get over the top, and there won't be a great distance between the group. It won't split enough, so they will come back together on the descent, and maybe, as I said earlier on, we could see quite a big group coming in the last couple of kilometres together.
Well, there they are on this climb, the final climb, just there in the blue, hovering is Casagrande. Yes, Russ.
No, I was just going to ask Sean, you're one of the top sprinters in the world. what would you say, what does Konashev got to do? Obviously, all the guys are watching him. One of these guys are going to take off him. Does Konashev chase, or does he sit on somebody?
Well, I think it depends on who attack. If an Ulrich or Van den Broek attack and there's one or two riders who go with him, well then you definitely have to got to react, because if you find yourself behind after the descent or on the top of the climb, well then you've got to do the chasing. So I think, but Konashev, you know, he will be saying, well, this is perfect for me now because there's no attacks. They're riding quite a strong tempo. It suits him down to the ground that, you know, he get further up the climb and get closer to the top. So if there is an attack in the last couple of 100 metres, he doesn't lose very much, or he can hope that he could hang on that distance. But if they start attacking right from the bottom, and I'm surprised I haven't seen Van den Broek or some of those guys
I
go
was going to say to Sean that Van den Broek to me is a power rider, a man with speed. So do you think he's going to wait till he come off the climb and then try and go away at the back end? On the far side, when the French riders starting to go now, Jean-Charles Robin was in his breakaway group and setting off down the road, trying to split them up. I think that's Christophe Magnan now. Jean-Charles Robin, who's in his breakaway group, has now powered his way off towards the front. But this, sure, I mean, he's a great bike rider. He's been in there and thereabouts for some time now. But this class field behind him, I think they've just been looking at each other, and this is always an opportunity for somebody who takes advantage of the infighting amongst the tops, isn't it, Sean?
Well, a perfect opportunity for Robin, because he's not a great sprinter, and as I said, on the climb there was no great attacking. Well, there was nobody attacked actually, and the speed wasn't that high. Ulrich was keeping a good tempo, and so it was a perfect situation for Robin to attack. But again, I'm surprised that Van den Broek hasn't attacked. He mustn't be feeling really that great, because if he was, he's a sort of rider that would attack right from the bottom and blow everybody to pieces on the climb.
Depends how that crash upset him, because he did crack his wrist rather badly. He's been soldering on, and we're interested to find at the end of it all just what the damage was, but he's having great difficulty, I think, holding on to handlebars, so perhaps he's waiting to come off the top of the climb and down the other side, and so Robin looks back to discover that powering up here, it again looks like Ulrich doing the work on the front. Casagrande is on his wheel. We'll look back at the attack there for Robin, who nipped off down the road, and perhaps his last chance of doing. You may say, well, why not stay with this one? But we have had, for instance, in the under-23 Championship of the World, we saw a brilliant attack with the Italian, went over the top then with only some 6 seconds to go and rocketed off to get his victory down into the finish. Giordani went away 6 seconds, the Italians closed it down, and he rode in to have a 9-second victory. We saw almost the same thing happen when the Canadian girl went over the top. Jensen with just no more than about 15, 17 seconds over the top. She held that down the other side too. So this going over the top we've seen so far, who managed to break away. Even in the ladies' race too, in Pukunshati, she went over the top with no more than about 10, 12 seconds to spare. She managed to hold it down. So are these riders going to try and break it up, or are they going to come down? If they actually stay together for the sprint, then anything can happen. Well,
yes, we see Bogart here. I think he has lost contact actually.
He has, I think. Yeah.
But it's for Konashev and a sprinter who is still in there at the moment. It's a perfect situation, because you have Ulrich on the front who is just powering up this hill. He's not when he goes, he doesn't go really fast. He just, you know, he's a big powerhouse. So it's a perfect situation for those guys to hang on. And as we can see him now, he's just powering away there. So I would see this group all, you know, most of this group hanging together, and they will go down the descent, and it depends on what sort of a gap that Robin has at the top, if he can hold on.
The intriguing fellow to me is this chap from Spain, Freire. I honestly don't know a lot about him. So the chap who's hovering on behind here, number 92 for Spain, Oscar Freire Gomez. I don't remember him riding the Tour of Spain. I'm pleased, forgive me, viewers back home, and say yes, he rode so-and-so. He to me is the oddball. He's just sitting there in third place. I don't think the rest are taking note of it. All this group here, we've got, 10, 15 rides, now getting down to no more about 9 or 10. I know all of them, but I don't know that Spaniard.
Yes, he's a surprise one actually. I haven't heard much of him before. Actually, I've never heard of him in any of the bigger races.
Hey, this is a difficult bit. We've got the statistician here, Russell Williams. Do you know him, Russell?
Yeah, he's from South London actually.
Oh, get off. Sorry about the jokes, lady number, but really, to find somebody in there, and I'm not being disrespectful to Spanish viewers who now send me emails and saying he won XYZ some time ago, and I can certainly go back in my records now and find more about him, but I'm just very intrigued to think that he's there, and he's doing the right thing. Look at, he's always lying back in second or third place. I don't know if he's a sprinter, he's not putting himself out, and I suggest to you, dear viewers back at home, that the rest of the riders don't know much about him either, because all this season I've been watching all the top races. We've been out on many of the races, and he's one man and now Van der Broek's starting to move up, and the Spaniard on the right hand side drifts back in the wheels. Oscar Cameron's still in there, Konachev back behind, and this is an interesting little group. They seem to shed a couple of riders at the moment. We dropped, I think, 2 or 3 on that climb.
Yes, we've seen Van den Broek move up at the moment, but it's possible we're getting pretty close to the top, so he's getting near the front, because on the descent I think it'll be very fast, and you need to be as close to the front as possible, but not on the front, of course, because there you use a lot of energy pulling it along.
There can't be more than about 10-12 riders there. That they were a bit more than that. You got 9, is it now? Right. So we shed 1 or 2, and going on, Oscar Kamzin going, then Van den Broek going. Ulrich following on behind.
Yes, Ulrich was doing a lot of pulling on the climb, and I think, depending on how much an advantage Robin has, we haven't seen that, so if he will hold it out to the finish. But definitely if he has...
He's come back, he's been dropped. I think he's gone off the back. I think that's him in there now. Is it maybe? I think he's been caught, actually, Sean. Yeah, he's been caught and dropped.
Yes.
Yeah, he's gone. Russell, what you're saying?
He's still in the front group, sorry, gentlemen.
Oh, yeah, but he's not on his own.
No, he's in the front group.
Yeah, right. Russell's watching it. We're trying to pick the tackies up, and so there, number 1, Oscar Kamzin. Following behind number 70 in the blue is Ulrich. Then we have, Robert is at the back there, just following on behind Aberhul. There are 2 Swiss riders in here, so we've got Swissman on the front then we've got a German, then we've got one from Italy, then we've got one from Russia, and then we've got the Spanish rider, then another one from Switzerland. They come back down, the American at the back end, and one from Belgium, Van der Broek. The French rider just in front. A nice mixed bag, but the Swiss have 2 riders. Can they pull off the double? Can they get Oscar Kamzin to get his 2nd gold medal in succession? Well, it looks like they come down. We may still have a front sprint finish, but you never know at this level. Well, that's our group in the lead. The reigning world champion Oscar Kamzin wearing number 1 on his back, and a little bit of chat there. Suddenly I could see that it looked like Marcus Zuberg having a quick word with Konachev on the way through, and that Spanish rider 92 Oscar Freire Gomez still in here. The rest of them, gosh, I know them so well I could see him at a million miles away, but not that man. He's the oddball here. But let's see what's going on now. Zula's saying, come on, you must take your turn. He's not happy, I think, like McRae's done nothing so far.
Yeah, that's Jan Ulrich just saying to Chad McRae to start doing some work. Hey, it's too late to talk now. I was just going to ask Sean, actually. Obviously, last year, Oscar Kamzin won this, and Zuberg worked for him. Do you think they have to turn it around now? Do you think Kamzin's going to have to work for Zuberg for the sprint?
Well, I don't know what way they will work it out. I would think there will be attack, and I think the Swiss guys, the Swiss will attack. Definitely, they will have a go and try and get away. The advantage is when you have 2 guys from the same country up there, well, one can have a go, and then when that's taken back, the other one can have another go immediately.
Also, Sean, Casagrandi's there. He's not a sprinter, he's a climber. What's he going to do?
Well, again, it's going to be interesting. At the moment, I don't know who is the best sprinter in there. I think the American...
Konachev, to me.
Yes.
I'd go Konachev.
Is Konachev still there?
Is Konachev still in here?
Is Konachev still there?
Yes. Well, if Konachev is in there, I think he will be by far the best sprinter.
Right. But Chad McRae is the man who might catch a few with napping. So, no, that's interesting. They've sent, I think, he's gone down the road, hasn't he? So, and Kamzin's gone to the back here. So Zuberg's gone off the front. Do you think it's a chance for Kamzin to get his breath back here, sat number 1? Hey, it's the tactics. Wow. Sean, you've ridden the World Championship, goodness knows how many times. What's it like coming in toward the finish now when you know, and you've been there, a couple of bronze medals, 3 times 5th, when you're with a group like this, so your hair's standing up back in neck, what are you thinking about?
Well, the problem is if you're a good sprinter and the guys, everybody up there with you know that you're a very good sprinter, then they're going to look around at you when the tacks are going, they're going to say, well, he's going to try and go with it because he's a sprinter. But if there's a lot of guys in there, which most of those guys in the lead group are not great sprinters, so I think when guys attack, I think they would, everybody will be chasing, everybody's down, and I think it could come down to the final sprint.
And I wonder what's going to happen to Mr. Oscar Freire Gomez. He's only had one success until this year, by the way, riding last year with Vital Segura's team. He won a stage in the Volta Castilla, one victory to his account so far. He's the one that the rest are saying, well, okay, we'll ride as we do, but he and I think also Chad McRae, because McRae, this is his first year at this level of bike racing. He rode extremely well in the Tour of Spain. He's in there too, so these lads all know each other, don't they? They know the strengths and weaknesses, but those two oddballs out there can do anything, and now Van der Broek starts to go through.
Yes, but I think the riders, they would have a better idea of, you know, some of these unknown guys that we do not really have much on. But they would know their capabilities, they would know if they're good in the sprint. And as we see Ulrich, he was talking with McRae, he probably realised that McRae is a good sprinter, so he said to himself, well, this guy is going to get a handy race to finish and beat us all in the sprint, and he was trying to get him to move.
They start to jump around now then, because those who can't sprint begin to wake this thing up. Then off the top of the climb, it's McRae that's gone on the front, and he's got Konashev in his wheel there. McRae going down, he rides a pro for the Mapei team, and behind him Konashev has gone on the wheels, and Konashev eases back then and says, no, I'm not coming through, and I don't blame him either. All the tactics here got to be something else, and Sean Kelly's sitting right on the edge of his seat. You're licking your lips here. I think you'd like to be there in Konashev's place, wouldn't you,
Yes, well, Konashev, he's immediately closed down that attack, and you know, we're going to see quite a few more attacks, I think, before the finish, because you know, the Swiss with two men up here in the front, they're definitely going to have a couple of goes.
Well, Chad McRae finished in 19th spot in the Tour of Spain, and I think we're going to see a bit of him too. So now who's next to go? Van der Broek easing himself off the front, being tracked then by Casagrande. Casagrande's come good toward the back end of this season. That superb ride in the San Sebastian, 3 kilometers to go, and it's still Van der Broek on the front. Looking back, this is surely, Sean, playing right into the hands of the man on our screen there in the red, white and blue, Konashev.
Yeah, it's the perfect situation. You know, there's the attack, and now a way of going along, and they haven't been attacked for quite a bit, so it's perfect for Konashev, a good sprinter like he is.
So Konashev on his way through here, and he's absolutely in the right place. There's the fellow, only one success, and no, Konashev looks back, yep. And watch out for Casagrande, starts to go, and in the finishing straight here we've got a great big screen, and the Italians can see Casagrande rocketing off down the road, and this is the only way he can do it really, because this man doesn't have the power in the sprint, and he's caught them napping. As he saw Konashev look back, he launched himself into space. Well, it must be the only way. As they come along here, they're going to come round in toward the Porta Nova, and then there, what a beautiful time move. And Konashev thought, do I go with you, do I not go with you? And the gap has opened up alongside the old walls of this beautiful old town of Verona, alongside the river Adige as well, and into the town, the famous town of Romeo and Juliet. Who's going to play out this one with success? And off to go again.
Yes, I think that's one of the Swiss riders having a go at the moment.
And also the little Spanish chap just topped off as well.
Yes.
Comes in on his wheel.
Good move there, David.
The sun is being set in Verona. All day long since 10 o'clock this morning, these riders set off. 173 of them. We've now whittled it down to no more than 8 or 9 riders. Who's going to get this World Championship? It's an amazing situation we've got here. There's only one real sprinter in that bunch, that's Konashev. And the world champion Oscar Campesin from last year is poised perhaps to get his second ever gold medal. But can he get it? Can Ulrich come passing? Can Chad McRae get it? Can Casagrande go? Can Van der Broek get it? This one, it would have the bookies biting their nail, because I don't know which way it's going. None of us know here. As Oscar Campesin starts to power away again, and the Spanish rider Freire starts to close him down. Well, that's an amazing situation. Sean, this is something well, you've been to World Champion. I don't think I've seen a finish like this for many, many years, eh?
Yes, we haven't seen a finish like this, you know, as with these number of riders all together. It's a very interesting one, certainly for the television spectators, it makes it very interesting, because when you have one guy out there in front and he's on his own, it's not as spectacular as what we're seeing on the screen at this moment.
And there's only one true sprinter, that's Konashev. McRae can also go rather quickly too. So what's going to happen now? They come down the finishing straight for the last time up this main straight here, and they're zigzagging all over the place then. And off on the right-hand side, the attacks are coming. And looking back over, so it's
Ulrich.
I think it's the Spaniard. Hang on, the light is not very good here at the moment. He's caught them all napping, and they're not going to catch him. I'm sure it's the Spaniard, surely. Now, come on, it is. And this is amazing. Everybody watching, they don't know this man. He's only won one race until this year. And now the Spanish rider here, Freire, has just caught them all. And they're watching each other, and he's got it. Yes. Absolutely amazing. It's only, to my knowledge, his second victory of the Pro, and he's got the World Championship. Absolutely amazing. And then behind him, it goes to, second spot went to Zuberg. I didn't see it was third. I don't know if Russell saw that one, but that just shows you an opportunist move that caught them all napping, and the whole of Spain now will be going absolutely bananas, because who would have thought it, out of the team from Spain, that would have popped. What a beautiful time move. He just caught them all napping, and really that has turned the form book right upside down, and still some more riders coming in here, but that really is going to go down. And I remember some years ago, I don't wish to be disrespectful to this young lad Freire, by the way, but going back down the World Championship, most of the names we know over the years go on to be champions, and we still see them racing. But I remember, being respectful to Harm Ottenbros in Zolder in 1969. Harm got the championship of the world there, surprised a lot of people, but this man surprised a lot of people too, and came out because he wasn't expected to get it. He got the gold medal, and he got it in tremendous form right at the last knockings of this race, and that really threw the form book right out of the window. Absolutely superb. Well, Sean, here we were looking at the top riders, and that's cycle racing, isn't it, eh?
Yes, well, that's, so close for the sprinters, and yet so far. You get into that, the final straight, 800 metres to go, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, this is going to be, down to a sprint. And this guy, they were just looking over, he stopped pulling the sprint earlier on, and he had his go, and he it worked out. We've seen this on a few occasions over the last 10 or 15 years, but it's a fabulous win for this guy. When you look at what he's won, just one race, it's just unbelievable.
Well, there he is, and he's been now completely covered. Let's watch again what happened. They swung round here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 riders, I suppose, and the Spanish lad has been always up there, riding second or third from the front, watching the top men go, and I'm not being disrespectful for him, because he's a pro, he's done well to get. Look at him as they came to the left side. He chose his moment, he switched to the right-hand side. That was tactically Sean. What about that, eh?
Yes, it was a good time to attack. Although Van den Broek, I'm surprised he was in his wheel, and I'm surprised that he didn't have a go with him, because he would have read that, he would have seen that. But depending on how your legs are as well, that will decide a lot.
Well, I certainly don't remember him riding in the Tour of Spain. I'd look back through here, and looking back through the books too, likewise, I said he only had one success last year at a stage in the Porto Castellón, and he comes, in fact, last year was a neo-pro. He only turned pro at the back end of last year. He comes from Torrelavega, and riding for Vitus Seguros, and he rode one or two other races, like the Amstel Gold race when he finished 45th in that one. But now we're going to have an interview with the new world champion, Oscar Freire Gomez.
Aquí in Verona, un campeón del mundo, yo creo que se puede decir así, que ningún se esperaba.
Bueno, yo la verdad es que tampoco lo esperaba yo, porque este año he estado lesionado y era la 11 carrera que corría hoy, y bueno, me he encontrado muy bien, y al final de todo pues me ha recompensado con la victoria.
He's just saying that in this particular race he was feeling rather well. It's a major race of the year. And he's just saying, how did you work out the last tour?
Todos íbamos más o menos vigilándonos, porque la subida no rompía del todo.
He said everybody was controlling the race. The climb wasn't too hard coming up the last time.
Alguno más, pues era difícil que se escaparan solos.
En los 500 metros finales, porque
it's difficult to make an escape on that final climb, although it wasn't wasn't very hard.
Bueno, yo pienso que porque yo era un poco
He's
desconocido
asking
entre
why
ellos
didn't
porque
the group
no había corrido
in the
ninguna
last
carrera
15 years.
que
Nobody knows me, yes.
Es muy satisfecho, creo, lo que siente ahora.
He said, I haven't raced any good races recently.
Tengo 23
And he's asking the question, are you happy? I should think so, yeah, 23 years of age.
En amateur es diferente a profesional.
Second in the World Championship, the amateurs. Way. Well, I'll just dig back into my books there. So he was second in the Amateur World Championship, and there I should have noted that, just a listener back at home. Sorry about that, but certainly we've been going back through the books, but he says second in the... Yes, he was. In 1997 here in San Sebastian, I ought to have noticed that. He was second behind Kurt Alverson. He then turned neo-pro at the back end and had that one victory last year, and now he's the world champion. That really shows you, Sean. This is the poetics of cycle racing, in that suddenly an unknown can come through. That must give ambition to people who want to take up any sort of sport. Is you never know, if you have an opportunity, grab your chance, and then you might come out on top, as just this man did. In fact, he did come out on top in a way which surprised a lot of the top people, but sport's all about that, isn't it? There's no way that you must just follow and do what everybody else says. If you just feel good, it's going to be right, and you see a chance, you've got to take it, and this man took it, and there he goes, second in the amateur, the under-23 championship of the world in San Sebastian the year before last, and now he's going to be the gold medalist. Gosh, this fellow is certainly going to have a great hero's welcome when he gets back to Spain on Monday after this superb, well-judged performance which got him the gold medal.
Step into the future.
If you've never experienced the thrill of Mach 3, it's wake-up time. Introducing Mach 3, the first triple blade shaving system from Gillette. 3 blades positioned to shave progressively closer. You take 1 stroke, it takes 3, so you don't have to shave over and over, which means less irritation. 3 blades, fewer strokes, less irritation. Mach 3. Gillette.
Wherever you look, there's always something plus. The Wagon-R Plus, a Suzuki original.
Well, we've had some superb bike racing in Verona to end the millennium of World Championships, and it's now all over and done with. 260 kilometres, 162 miles in all, and this is the young man that's grabbed that victory, surprising a lot of people by the audacity of his attack in the last 800 metres. And Sean, this is what cycling is all about, isn't it? The opportunity of a rider like him to come through and surprise the top class. That was a well-judged thing for a young man like this, eh?
Yes, well, it was the perfect time to attack, and it was just the last moment, because if it had went another 40-50 yards, it would have been the start of the sprint, and they would have reacted immediately. But just he got a stall. Everybody else looked at each other, and he got the gap. And once they hesitate for 2 seconds, that's it, you're gone. And then nobody wants to fill that gap at that moment.
We have lots of young lads watching the coverage on Eurosport of the cycle racing. We see coming up in second place, Berg took that, Raban took the 3rd spot, but no doubt the victories for Oscar Freire Gomez. This says a lot about being an opportunist, doesn't it, Sean, about how you can ride things. I was impressed with it. What about you?
Yes, I was very impressed, and he definitely took it at the perfect time. But sometimes, you just go for it, and you're hoping it's the perfect opportunity, and it's just a bit of, it's the look of the draw, really, and you could try that on, 9 times, and out of 10 times out, and 9 times out of that you would fail, and just the one time it works out, and luckily for that young guy, it's worked out today, and it's a victory that he will cherish for life.
And they're coming in then to the second spot, Zerberg from Switzerland. Oscar Camazin wasn't that far behind him. I'm just waiting for confirmation exactly as to where he finished at the end of it all, but we can see the Spanish rider finishing there and looking back out at this lovely town and that beautiful old tower there, and then confirming 1, 2 and 3. So there's still a lot more bike rides yet to come in before we can get on with the presentation ceremony. Camazin there, yes, it was 6th in the end. McRae finishing 5th. Vandenbroek disappointed perhaps in 7th spot. Jan-Luc, but what a roll call! And the two people who will not normally be up there, McRae, a great ride by the American, and a particularly extremely good, well judged. Look at this, they snake round. He just saw his chance and he didn't follow the wheels, he just took off, and they all looked at each other and said, go on, after you Claude, no, after you Cyril, after you Claude, after you Cyril. I don't know how many remember that back on the radio in Great Britain, that was part of the sort of catchphrase of one of the radio programs many years ago, but this man didn't wait, and while they were doing the after you Claude, after you Cyril, he clocked off and he got the victory, and you see there taking him that into the gold medal and the rainbow jersey of world champion. And now coming up onto the rostrum, we have this beautiful sight, and one of these girls, by the way, actually comes from Great Britain, and her name is Annie. She comes from Canigliano, and she's an English girl. We had a chat to her about this, and she told me that this is a group, by the way, the Associación Dama Catalana, recognised at national international level, and the volunteers come along here, and they also play part, apart from coming here to a function like this from the town of Canigliano on the hillside some miles north of Treviso. They also have a thing called human drafts, and they dress up and they take part in this human draft. It's a wonderful ceremony. It also has in the town a ceremony too to do with the wine growing and the vines from that part of the world. And this is the volunteers who come and look at how gorgeous it is here, and they've been with us right the way through since we started the World Championship on Monday. Back in Treviso with the time trial champions of the world, and they come here for the final ceremony of these championships, the presentation to the elite men, and the victor on this particular occasion there being congratulated by the rider. And really none of us, I think, could have predicted a 1, 2 and 3 like this one that we see up on the screen. Certainly Zerberg could have been in with a shout, but the way this man rode the race, he's a worthy champion, and I'm sure that Spain will be very happy to have him there in the rainbow jersey racing next year. Now come on, Sean, what's it like when you get up there? And I know you were there and you've had your bronze medals. What's this moment like?
You know, the feeling can be great. You know, depending on what
medal you got.
What medal you've got, of course, and what your hopes were setting out for this guy. You know, I think if he had got up on the podium for any medal today, he would be, over the moon. But to win this one is really, it's really, I don't think he realises it as yet. But one thing was about the sprint. We see that Konietzef, he didn't get up in that sprint, so it is surprising. And the other thing is the Swiss, they had two riders. They had Camazin and Berg. Certainly, maybe they had another rider as well. I'm not too sure. But with two riders there, one of them should have sacrificed for the other. And Berg, winning that sprint, I think, Camazin definitely should have went there and started to chase down that gap right away, and at least they ruined a chance where now they were sprinting for second place.
Well, they didn't do it, and this young man, Oscar Freire Gomez, got his gold medal, got his rainbow jersey. He's only 23 years of age, and up there alongside him in the second medal spot is Marcus Zerberg from Switzerland, and in third place will be Jean-Sarah Robin of the French team. Well, we go back to 1995 at Dutrama in Colombia, when Abraham Milano was the last Spanish winner of the rainbow jersey, and go back even further beyond that, a long, long way back for the Spanish to have got a world champion. So now they've got yet another one. The man who finished second in the under-23 championship world a couple of years ago is now receiving his bouquet. He first of all got his medal and his jersey from Hein Verbruggen, the president of the UCI. And going into next year, it's going to be the centenary of the UCI. There's going to be lots of ceremonies, and there's going to be a cycle ride from Paris to Lausanne to celebrate the 100th year of the UCI. They're going to have groups of riders, by the way, and I'm thinking, Sean, that perhaps we might get a Eurosport group together. Looking round about here, all the commentators, we've got Jean-Paul Van Poppel, we've got Laurent Fignon just up behind us here, we've got Tony Rominger, we've got you as well, so I think I'll come along as team manager, and Russell can be the swan year. No, you can ride, Russ, because you're fit. Anyway, Anyway, so now and then to the World Championships. We're going to have the anthem shortly, and the UCI must be very pleased the way this has turned out, because again, tradition's been broken almost, and we have an unusual, an unexpected victor, but a worthy champion too, and I'm sure he's going to wear that rainbow jersey into the year 2000 with great deal of pride, and the whole of Spain, which is a tremendously strong cycle racing country, is going to be absolutely pleased, tickle pink now that they've got another rainbow jersey following in the wheel marks of people like Olano and Indurain, who's here. In fact, Miguel Indurain's here as well. I'm sure he, like us, congratulate this young man, the champion of the world. Well, the elite men's road race brings to a conclusion our coverage of the 1999 World Championships from Verona. We started out with the time trials from Treviso when we had the time trial section, 3 days of that, then we moved on into the road race. The big events coming up on Eurosport will be the Tour of Lombardy, where my good colleague alongside of me, Sean Kelly, been twice winner of that one too. We're also then going to have the World Track Championships from Berlin as well.